Well, hello. Welcome to Casting with Resin. This is my first video, and this is the first time I've ever sandcasted with resin, or sandcasted, yeah. No, I've sandcasted one time, and this is the original. I don't remember, I think we picked that up at a yard sale, and I sandcasted it here last week, made one out of aluminum, and didn't come out too bad. I gotta get on eBay and get the hooks, wall hooks, and debating whether I want to make a silicone mold out of this down the road, but we'll see. But I want to definitely try to cast some out of brass and copper, but even what got me kind of started into that was thought I opened this one. I guess not. Is I do scrap metal, and I put up a YouTube channel called Okie Scrapper, showing the loads I picked up. You know, some of the stuff I pick up, how to tear stuff down for other people getting into scrapping. The channel's been doing pretty good, and I kept looking at the aluminum motors and stuff, you know, that has metal in it you can't get out, so you sell that as aluminum breakage and get about 10 cents a pound. I know that's totally irrelevant to the resin casting, right? But I thought, you know, that's not much money. It takes a lot to make, you know, make a decent dollar that way. So I did some research and made me a waste oil burner and made me a melting pot where I can melt those motors down and get aluminum ingot and make aluminum ingots and sell them on eBay. And then I got me a double forge where I could melt down copper and brass and make ingots, but I'm kind of tired of making ingots, so I thought, well, you know, I might try sand casting. And I thought, you know, but I got to get a lot of different patterns and designs to, you know, have something different to cast all the time. So then I got thinking about resin casting, because I kind of researched this years ago, and right now I'm very limited on supplies. I have a couple little bottles here of some Easy Flow Clear from Brick in the Yard. I've got some metal powder here, tin colored. I also have some brass powder, which I'm not going to use that in this video. And then so far I bought some brown dye, and that's what we'll be using today. So I thought, you know, I can cast different stuff. I have more molds on the way. I'm still pretty limited even on stuff for sand casting. Got this mold in the other day, and which just go to YouTube, Okie Scrapper, and you can probably see the video where I made this cross. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but it kind of looks like nails. So today we're gonna try, like I said, this is my first time resin casting, and hopefully it won't be the last. But next week I have some more molds coming in. I think 3 more molds, and some resin, some different resin. Wow! You put it in a can and put it in a bag in the can. This resin here, I would not use this for jewelry. It has a very, very fast working time, and if you get bubbles in it, you're not going to have time to get it out. And the directions here say mix, you know, 1 part A to 1 part B, you know, by volume. Mix thoroughly, scraping the sides and bottom. And it says pour into properly prepared molds within 1 minute. Pour time 2 to 2.5 minutes, and demold after 30 minutes. that's kind of why I got this. I thought, well, if we're making basically mold patterns for sand casting, you know, I can mold them up pretty quick. Yeah, it says I can demold after 30 minutes, but I think it still takes, you know, 8 to 10 hours or something to reach total hardness. I think I'm just going to set that in there like it is. My wife said she liked this mold here, so get a little of this silver powder. Kind of dust the mold with it. Yeah, one thing that they were saying on Brick in the Wall website is for mixing their resin, they say it's really best to mix about in batches of at least 2 ounces to get, you know, a good mix ratio. Now, like I said, this has a 2.5 minute working time, but that is at room temperature, and they say room temperature is 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and today outside I think the high is going to be 55, and so I try to keep the resin in the house so it stays at room temperature. But I've had it out here for over an hour, and I'm just kind of waiting for the sun to get off of the workbench here. Now, hopefully when I get done with this, get the resin poured in there, it's going to give it kind of a tin or metal look. They say you can, after you get it demolded and stuff, you can kind of go over it lightly with steel wool. I'm going to just try to shake off any extra, like so. Some areas there it doesn't, I don't know, not really sure if I got it into some of these areas. And for those of you who are wondering, I'm out here in Oklahoma. I've been kind of trying to watch videos on YouTube on doing resin, and I think that Brick in the Yard, they're down in Texas, and most of their stuff is not jewelry, but it's kind of making props and stuff, and then they have do some body casting where, you know, cast hands and arms and legs and whole body, you know. So that's kind of, some of their stuff's kind of interesting. I've got some of that chameleon mica powder coming, and that would be kind of interesting to try to do one of these in. Of course, I imagine that might be very much of a challenge to do. I'm not sure how far 2 ounces of this stuff will go. So once I pour the resin, I probably won't be able to move these around much at all. And I'm looking at, as far as trying to make these for sand casting, I'm thinking the thicker they are, the better the metal will flow in there. So, but still with this metal finish, hopefully these will look nice, so I can use it for a pattern a time or two. They say this resin I have here is kind of, they say it's transparent, but it's kind of a transparent amber. And they have some other stuff that I probably should have ordered. and it hardens to a kind of a bone white. And I'm getting the face of that real well, but it doesn't look like I'm really getting the sides. This one's kind of deep. Yeah, I can see how thin this layer of powder is, so I can only imagine how lightly I'll have to sand it. And a little about me, I retired here about April from Hobby Lobby. And yeah, that's probably part of the reason I'm kind of into hobbies. I really didn't do too much hobbies, didn't have a lot of time. Trying to work full time and do the scrap metal. I worked 5 years over in the barnwood area where we did the barnwood picture frames. I ran a molder over there. I did a little bit of everything over there. And then the last 6 years there at Hobby Lobby, I worked in conveyor maintenance. Kept the product moving. And I hit 67, decided I wanted to retire and quit punching the time clock. So I worked for about 9 months after that just to pay extra on the land and on the land here, trailer. Got 5 acres out here in Blanchard, Oklahoma. You see a lot of neat resin videos online. I said mine's going to be probably a little different. Just gotta shake this back and forth. And dump the excess back in the bag. Whoops! See something I missed. It's not supposed to happen. Not supposed to drop the paintbrush. Which I might be able to cast some of these thinner ones in copper and brass because it gets hotter, but it may have to be summertime before I do it to where my sand or Petrobond is warmer. Being I'm out here in cool temperatures. One little tool I've got is this little blowgun. Use it for blowing out the computer and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to set this over here because I'll probably pour the 2 big ones first. Of course, once I pour the resin into them, okay. I'm going to get a marker so I can mark those. Just going to, yeah, if this marks, here's 1 ounce, and there's 2 ounces. I figure I might just go ahead and pour the 1 in there, part A, up to the mark, and add a few drops of the brown color, and then put the part B in there and stir it all up. So wish me luck. Now this stuff's, I always say, you know, pour your thicker stuff in, but you can see this stuff's pretty liquidy. This might be a little thicker, but not by much. So we'll go ahead and put the part B in there first. It's kind of like this is my first time doing it, so do I really want to get started? It's almost kind of scary. So what if I mess up? Well, you know, worse things have happened. Now to save time, since I don't have a whole lot of time to mix the part A in, I'm going to go ahead and add the dye right now. See how that goes. Yeah, it's darkening that up pretty quick. Get some of that off the side if it will. Yeah, that came out real brown, didn't it? Okay, now for the part A, and then the moment of truth, huh? It looks pretty close to being there. Now they say make sure you scrape your sides. As thin as this is, probably won't have too much trouble. Okay, I'm going to say that's probably good enough. I think my resin cups just came in yesterday or day before, so yeah, where to set it. Like I say, I have no idea how far this is going to get me. 2 ounces. It may be enough, it may not be enough. I think there's enough in there now. Well, it actually looks like it's got enough. I like these little measuring cups because I'll have to probably do some sanding on the back of that one for sure. Yeah, I still got quite a bit of resin in here. I need to get some toothpicks so I can kind of push the stuff up into the little points. So far this stuff seems to be flowing up in there pretty good, but hopefully there'll be no air bubbles in there. That could be the scary part. I got an ice pick over here. I might just use it. The reason I bought this mold set was because I knew I had to mix up about 2 ounces at a time. So I thought, well, I need something. Well, I really over poured on that one, didn't I? See if I can daub some of that out of there. What a mess. Yeah. And I'm getting it everywhere. Why not? Throw it on a rubber glove. Yeah. I am a messy person. That's why I don't wear white. White and I do not get along. I think I over poured on almost all of these. Of course, they say to over pour, otherwise you get kind of sharp edges. So I'll have to do some trimming and Dremel work for sure. Yeah. There it is. Try to get into some of these little points. Can't hardly see them because of all the dark resin on top. Okay, it probably starts setting up here really quick here. I'm not sure. I should have set a timer. This stuff says you got 2.5 minutes and you can demold after 30 minutes. So anyway, there we are on this part. Go ahead and put that back in there. A lot of times they say go ahead and just leave that in your mixing thing, and then when it's hard, when this is good and hard, especially the thin areas, then you know that everything in your mold is good and hard. Probably have to get some real fine blades from my jigsaw, because I think I could probably just trim a lot of that up with the X-Acto knife. Okay, I'll go ahead and come back when I get ready to demold these. See you in a little bit. It's been a good 3 hours. I've been busy up with other stuff. So we'll go ahead and demold these, see how they came out. They're kind of a flat gray. I'm going to get a baby wipe here, and as I was saying, this is my first time pouring resin, and get all that powder off of here. It was interesting. Over poured quite a bit, so I'll have to try to trim a lot of that. I was gonna get some steel wool. Now they say for cleaning this up, they said to use the 4/0 steel wool. Not sure how well you can see these. They said take your steel wool to it. There's so much detail on this, I probably can't really get down in there to do what I need to do. So far it seems to be focusing pretty good. Now, this would probably really look pretty neat with the different colors. Almost looks like I got some holes here in some of these deeper parts. Maybe I should have squished the mold around or something, so I probably had air bubbles down there. And like I say, you don't really have much time to work air bubbles out. I probably didn't mix it good enough. So it's going to take quite a bit of trimming on that one. Let's take the steel wool to it and kind of see what it... They say not to do the steel wool too much or you'll go right through it. But they say it's best too to have a dark color in the background, so that's why I bought the brown. Even though I overfilled it, it's still kind of got a cup shape to it. That's pretty thin. I don't know if I could get... if I tried to do sand casting on that one, I'd have to probably wait till the summertime. But they have... I got one right here behind me. They're called graphite molds. They're made out of graphite. So I've got one of the cross. It's so small it's hard to pour. And then this is what they call a coin mold. And I'm not sure if the light's picking that up, but it's got like a scorpion in there. Where you just pour your hot metal in there, and of course it'll kind of bubble up a little bit on the back. But I'm wondering if I can't do something like that with one of these to make the mold. Well, kind of like you're doing a silicone mold where you'd have your deal and you'd have your object in there, then you pour your silicone in. But I'm thinking about doing it, be an experiment, testing it with refractory cement. I've got a tub of powdered refractory over here, and I thought I could mix it up where it's pretty runny and watery, and then just, I could probably like take this and make the mold, and it'd be flat back like this. And if the stuff will handle the heat, then I almost need a bright light right down on me here. I'll probably just have to try to get it from the back with tweezers. This picked up the detail really well, but it looks like kind of right there, it looks like a little pit. Might have been a little air bubble. I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not. And like I said, this is my first time. I've got a lot to learn. So hey, if you're new to resin casting, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe. Hit that notification bell to see the videos as they come out. I'm going to try to put out a couple a week. Oh, that looks like it sticks out further. I'm going to try to put out a couple videos a week, and I know there's not a lot of resin casting channels out there, so I thought it looks like there's probably room for a few more. If you notice, we did get a few bubbles coming up there in the back. So if I did these with like a clear resin, something that took longer to cure, right here at the bottom it looks like there's probably an air bubble there too. But all in all, for the first cast, it doesn't look too bad. Looks like there's a spot right here and a spot right there on this one, on the big one. Another effect I wanted to show you guys that they have here on Brick in the Yard they've got this black wax, metal wax, and what they do, you just kind of daub it. I probably should have shined this up with the steel wool first. You take this black wax and you daub it all over. And I want to, later this summer, I want to experiment with this and later I want to experiment with this and just see if like if I can get some black car wax, if that will work. But right now I don't have any idea. Okay, they say to cover that like so. I have to jump over and grab a couple paper towels. I know I keep having to leave the camera to get different stuff. They say don't let it sit too long because this stuff will harden and then you'll never get it looking good. So what this is going to do, the black is going to sit down in the recessed areas. And create a contrast. So thin it kind of bent. I should probably work against a solid object. Run the steel wool over here, see if I can make it shine. I don't know if I made it look any better or made it look worse. I don't know. But yeah. I think with some color would have really made this, because you could put different colors like in these four kind of round dots and stuff. I think make that look pretty sharp. Yeah, I think it looks good. This one I'm not too sure of. We'll get some different I guess I got 2-3 molds coming in next week. You can see that tin powder, that metal powder, is what you see in here that we painted on there. I may have gone too hard here. Take too much off. In a few other places it looks like too. This almost, the brown is almost showing through. I guess you'd know it. I don't know if I want to try the black wax on this. I might. There's a few experiments I want to try, but I think that resin I got coming in Monday is a kind of an off brand. I haven't really checked their Amazon store out real good. Need to see what all they have. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of resin suppliers out there, you know, you got some that pretty much just really all they want to do is do the resin for the guys that do the tables, which, I mean, the tables are neat, but not all of us are going to do tables. And they might want to just specialize on the tables, because the guys that do tables use a lot of resin. And people doing stuff like this, I mean, you're only using a couple ounces. If you're doing a table, you're probably using, you know, anywhere from a quart to a gallon or two. And they say there's different resins. So there's a deep pour resin, and I guess one guy, a video I was watching, the guy did I guess he was doing a table and he had to add some in, and he had a deep spot, but he didn't use the deep pour resin and kind of crystallized or something on him. You know, this one here had a lot more detail to it, and I think that black wax kind of brought this out a little more. I think if I took and just sprayed some polyurethane over that, or clear paint, that would probably really make it pop. Of course, I haven't tried just kind of a buffing action. I kind of wiped what I could off the higher areas. Yeah, I think that's making a difference now, where I'm just kind of buffing. Call it quits on this video pretty quick. It's probably getting kind of long. Yeah, I think that looks a little better. Made it shine a little bit. That's the one my wife liked. So a lot of times on my craft, she gets the first one. So hey, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. And if you want to help the channel along as far as for cost, I'll have a link in the description below where you can buy me a cup of coffee, and that'll help cover the cost of some of the resins and molds. And you know, I put in about a $200 order here, and I thought, man, you know, it didn't seem like I got a whole lot for $200. It takes a while to get your supplies up. Yeah, if you're just getting into it, they say get a silicone mat. And baby wipes. So hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up out here and call it a day, and we'll see you guys in the next video. So you take care and have fun with your resin creations. Bye bye.